Hello, I'm going to demonstrate DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. It is a network protocol used on IP network where a DHCP server automatically assigns an IP address and other information to each host on the network so that they can communicate efficiently. In other words, DHCP server provides IP to each client automatically. If there are three clients like PC1, PC2, PC3, then they can ask for IP address from DHCP server, and based on the request processed, they will be assigned some IP. So here I am going to demonstrate DHCP working in gns3. Here is the topology for the DHCP. Here router 1 will be acting as DHCP server and PC1, PC2, PC3 are the clients. So PC1, PC2, PC3 will be asking or requesting for IP from the router R1, and there's a switch which all three are connected to. Let's first assign IP to the network and IP to the router. So here network ID will be 192.168.100.0/24, which is of class C, and similarly we will assign IP to the router 192.168.100.1. So this will be the router ID or the server ID itself, server IP address. Now let's set up router R1 for DHCP. So first excluding the IP range of the router itself from the pole, that is 192.168.100.1, and now we will create one pole name RB college. Then assigning network IPs, default router IP and the DNS server IP itself. Now we can exit from this DHCP configuration. Now adding the IP of the router R1. IP at 192.168.100.1/24. Now simply we will check the status of the setup. So we will have a brief look on it. It is up and running, the interface 0/0. Now almost the DHCP server is set up, and we can now ask for the IPs from client to the server. So with PC1, first we will see the IP of this PC. What is the IP being assigned? So no IP is being assigned currently. Similarly for PC2, no IP, and PC3 show IP, no IP. As you can see, all these three PCs are not assigned any IP yet. So now we will ask the DHCP server for the IP from PC1, PC2 and PC3. So PC1 DHCP IP DHCP -R renew. Now IP is being assigned similarly for from PC2 and PC3. So as we can see, IP has been assigned to the PC1, that is 192.168.100.2, and for PC2 it is .3, and for PC3 it is .4. So all these three PCs have got the IP from DHCP pole. We can also assign IP range, like from which range to which range we want the IP to be assigned to each individual client. So here it is PC1 is pinging, self pinging. Similarly, for PC2, .3 IP pinging it's up, and PC3 is also, it should ping, it's pinging and it's also up. So as you can see, all these three PC have got IP from the DHCP. We have not individually assigned IP to each PC. That is the concept of dynamic host configuration protocol. Instead of manually assigning IP for all the PCs, we can ask DHCP server to assign the IPs. So now there is also the concept of lease in DHCP, like for how much time we can provide the IP, so that IP can be reused and IP range should not be wasted. So here we can see that for the lease, it is giving us this option. Now we have set the lease to 1. For 1 day each IP will be assigned. After 1 day, if it is not used, then it will be refreshed. Now let's try to cross ping the systems from PC2 from PC2 to PC1 and PC3. We'll try and see whether they are pinging or not. Pinging. Similarly, for the PC3, it's also pinging.